Welcome to show number 4 of the Joe Dorgan Show. I'm Joe Dorgan, and I'm here with my guests, Sandy and Christine. How are you all doing?
Doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to come.
Christine.
Sure. Thanks.
So we've known each other for a long time. You know, our paths have crossed here and there, but we want to know what you guys were doing now, but we all went to 101. So do you have any good stories or memories or?
Well, there's just way too many of them. But the ones that registered the most are the bad ones, which is...
Oh, yeah, we want to hear them.
Fist fights in the bathroom, and while I'm watching a throat kill cult, and it's funny. What else?
What was the one about getting on stage?
Oh, yeah, with the Lords of Acid, and I think, was it 99 or 2000?
Yeah.
And me and my friend Miracle, we were all dressed up, like all, corsets and like 8-inch heel boots. And so, of course, the roadie guy comes and he says, Hey guys, I saw you guys and you guys look so fucking awesome. Would you mind coming up on stage with Lords of Acid to do, I think it was Spank My Booty. And I said, yeah, fuck yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Because, when I first got there, me and Miracle, I was like, you know what? I feel like something cool is going to fucking happen. Something awesome. And she's like, oh, no, here we go. I'm like, yeah. So that happened. So we went on stage with Lords of Acid, and she put me up on, it was a clothes rack, and she put me in handcuffs and spanked my booty, whatever. But she didn't really like us, though. She was giving me and Miracle just, like, the fucking...
Hater, jealous.
Yeah, the stink eye. She's just like, the guy's like, hey, this is who's going to go up with you guys on stage. And she's like, oh, hi. And she just walked off. So, but I mean, it was for us. I'm like, trust me, you weren't going to steal the show, whatever. Thanks for the 10 minutes. Yeah.
And we were talking about haters because I imagine that woman was a hater, but haters are like fans. They follow what you're doing.
Yeah, they really are. They seem to know everything about you, and everything they see about you, they're rolling their eyes, but yet they're still on there, like watching everything you do. It's just like, whatever, it gets old. We all get old, and yes, people are like, oh, aren't you so old now? And then I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be your age because look how you're acting. I go, sorry, mija. But yeah, we've all gone through like crazy times and stuff and hating. But, you grow out of it. But some people, apparently, they don't. They just continue. They feed on that. Misery loves misery. Oh, no, it's company. Yeah,
We were talking about, like, for me, I grew up on punk rock and new wave. And then I got introduced to to rock, heavy metal, and my friends would make fun of me. And I was talking to that Hector, a friend of ours, that he started in the metal world, and then he started liking new wave, and then his rock friends got. What music did you start out with, or do you like it all, or?
I've always been, like Christine said, I've always been a rocker since high school, since junior high.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue was always, so it's all the, especially the glam bands and stuff, but I also like industrial. I liked everything except country. Or in Spanish music, I don't know. But yeah, it was, so when you would have like all these shows like No Doubt, White Zombie, 9 Inch Nails, I liked all of them. Everything that you brought in, The Hunger, everything was cool. So I enjoyed every little thing at 101. It was just, that's where I wanted to be. It was school night. I'm like, okay, it's Monday, and I can't wait till Wednesday for a liquid lobotomy. Oh, my God, because I was 18, and that's when, we can go in. You're underage.
Now, No Doubt was on a Wednesday, and
Yeah,
everyone swears they were there. And there was only like 200 people. And a lot of people were upset, like, who is this band interrupting our dance night, liquid lobotomy night?
Yeah.
But now everybody says they were there. I mean, you were there.
I was there, but I showed up late. But yeah, I was kind of like, they were not that big, so I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
but she still had that presence, and we're like, wow, she's, like a rock star. And I was drawn to that. A lot of people were like, no, this is bullshit, we're supposed to. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I like it. But it was towards the end, so I didn't really get to see much of it.
And Christine, you have some good stories. You were talking about the flag. I forgot about that, the request flag.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. I mean, I just remember spending a lot of Saturday nights dancing, and going up to the DJ booth. There was a little pen and paper where you could write your requests and kind of shimmy them up to the DJ booth. And, eventually he'd get to your request, and it was like, all right, dance all night. So.
And I kind of forgot about the white sheets, but yeah, that was a big staple right in the very beginning.
In the very beginning.
So that means
that very
I was there from the very beginning.
A very unstable stage. I was like, oh my.
The stage, yeah.
That stage that you had, it was little, but I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about how, it's small and it's, it shakes when people are like, we had just so much fun. We didn't care about all that.
Did you dance in the cages too?
Oh, yeah. I would love to dance in the cage. And my ex back then, he was like, get off. People are looking up your skirt. I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone. He's like, stop. So he would get all pissed off. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm having a good time. No one's touching me. I'm just up here having a great time. And of course, I always wanted to be, oh, look at me. I'm like, so. But that was a lot of fun, the cages. And I think I even got it once on top of the bar. There's a few girls that got on there.
Yeah.
And they're like, go up there. And I'm like, don't. And I was already buzzed. So I said, don't egg me. I'm like, all right, excuse me, girls.
Get out of my way.
Yeah. So, that was fun.
And yeah, I remember on your Facebook you were talking about Rob Zombie. Did you meet him at that show, or
No, I met Rob Zombie at
the Coliseum.
Yeah. And it was, remember Gabriel Garibaldi or something? Do you remember?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, he's the one that, I think he worked for you for a little bit, and he's the one that got us backstage there. Gabe Garalbi or something like that. But, yeah, he's the one that, and then Joe was there, too, the one that drew on, no, that was Joe Messer. No.
Joe Messer,
I think it was Joe. No, it wasn't
I mean Joe Messer, he early 101, great guy. He's in Chicago.
Oh, the one that drew all over the 101. He was like another bald guy.
This is horrible. Like I'm having a brain freeze because I'm glad you all are here.
Well, he's the one that he was back there with us.
Yeah.
Shania Salt, she was rushed to the hospital because she had to get appendicitis. It was that night, so I really wanted to meet her. And then Rob Zombie was he was there. I guess him and Shania Salt were about to break up, or they were broken up. But I saw Sherry with like really black hair, short hair, and she had a good voice like that. So now I'm like, oh, so I guess I started dating then. And then that's when I guess he took her on the road. And after that, they split up. Well, she didn't play with him anymore.
Yeah, because when they first played 101, we told that story a while back. I had to take her to the Danny's Music Box to get strings. But then they got bigger. And so I was asked by the promoters if I could help out with the show. And I remember that there was thousands of people at that show. And they were saying, I had to get somebody to see her. And they were like, she's going to have to get her appendix out. And the show was teetering on like cancellation or not. And we're like, well, there's going to be a riot at the Coliseum. And she was a trooper and she did the show.
Yeah, she finished.
And then she was in the hospital here for a while and canceled all the other shows. Usually El Paso gets the canceled show. But
yeah, she ate some Taco Bell or something from here.
Chico's.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah. So you worked at some famous bars here before. I mean, you were like, let's go see Sandy or the Brass Fast. You were talking about the Rainbow.
Yeah, well, I started bartending at the Rainbow many moons ago. And so from there on, I just started bartending for other Koreans, which was across the street from the headstand was halftime after the Rainbow. Then I went to the Brass Ass, which I still love and miss very much. I even dream about it sometimes, too. So, yeah, that was like all metal jukebox. And everyone would go in there like, why you guys just have metal? I'm out of here. I'm like, yeah, bye. You don't belong here.
See ya. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need you here. So I wish there was another bar like that nowadays, but even like rock bars nowadays, you go in and they're still playing like shitty hip hop, like Cardi B and all that crap. Yes, it is crap.
Crap.
So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, the brass house was awesome. I mean, we would go sometimes. Before I started working there, I used to go because we didn't have an ID to drink there. So we would stop there before we go to Club 101. And then,
You didn't have an ID? Oh my gosh.
well, I mean,
Everybody,
I did, but
all these people
I mean,
did.
I was under. Yeah, it took me a while. I was like, how come everybody has a fake ID? I don't. Can I borrow yours? So, yeah.
Oh, the brass ass was famous. I mean, like I mean, I went there a couple times. You were there. You were like, everybody came to see you and the music. But I knew if I stayed, I'd be drinking and I would go to work.
Yeah,
like,
I'd be like, I'd see you. I'm like, Joe. You're like, no, I just came to see. I'm like, come on. Yeah, I was the DJ and the bartender. I had to be the DJ, and
Yeah.
everybody liked it. At first, people that didn't really know me, they're like, they see me going to the jukebox, and they're like, "Oh no, what are you gonna play?" I'm like, "Trust me, just sit back." And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, just let her." And I play a variety of stuff, with whatever everybody likes there. Just not just stick to one person. Like, oh, just my friends like metal, so I'm gonna do this. No, I do everything that everybody wants to hear. Okay, the guy looks like he likes. Like in Tiny Tim, I'll play fucking the Tulip song or something, and then I'll cut it short. But yeah,
I remember you at 101, because people say, oh, you played great music, but, you when you were there, you would be like, hey, play this, and I put it on right away. And same with Caesar, it's because you have good taste in music.
yeah, I like two things. I do. So that's why when I go to bars and I'm like, I'm judging every. I'm like, no. So we go. I went to Bourbon and Brews not long ago, and I did. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna skip all these songs, but everybody started like there are some, guys are like, you can see they like Parliament and all that stuff, and they're like, yeah, oh hell yeah, who played this? And I'm like, come over here, and then from other side, who played this? I'm like, right here. They're like, hey, just let her take over. I'm like, I am, but you guys have to like pitch in for it. But yeah, that's right. I love doing.
We were going to do a rock versus retro night, but we never got to do that. But I hope we get to do that because, we were going to do that at the Rock House, but it just didn't work out.
But then it just, something happened.
My first recollection of meeting you was at the brew house. There was this white party, and Eddie talked about it.
Eddie had,
Yeah, he had
and
that brew.
Honestly, I didn't remember about it until you guys brought it up earlier. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I just remember a bunch of, like a shitload of candles. And after that, I'm like, you know what? Lighting is everything. So now when my home, like, you gone, I have like candles and like lights. And I really, really got inspired from then. I'm like the lighting, the candles. And I just remember, that's all I remember. I really don't remember what I was wearing or anything else.
I just remember there was a couch area, and you were sitting there in all in white, and I came in, and I sat down and started talking to you, and then there were some other people, but that's all I remember. And I was like, that's, I think, the first time I remember really meeting you, although seeing you at 101.
That was one of the times. I could vaguely remember that. Just
And
remember candles.
And now you're doing furniture? Because, I love following you on Facebook. I mean,
Yeah, after I bartended for 21 years, and I'm just, it was fun, and lots of fun, but after the brass ass closed, it was just not the same anymore. I just, I didn't have my regulars. I'd have people that are really fucking nasty to me and, talk shit to me and think it's okay. But the good thing is that I'm like, hey, I'm not at the Marriott. I don't have to fucking talk, just take it. I'm like, fuck you too. Like, get the fuck out. And my manager's like, Sandy. I'm like, no, get out. He's like, Sandy. I'm like, you want me to leave? I'll just leave right now. So, I'm just, after that, it wasn't fun anymore. It was just like, it felt like a job, and it just a bunch of assholes.
But people would follow you. People wanted to be
Yeah,
where
that's
you're
when
at.
I would go to, but then after that, I just got old, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not having fun. And then I got married, and we got a house, and then I started doing the stuff that I always wanted to do. Remodeling.
And he's real supportive,
Well, no, actually, he was kind of like, oh, here we go again. I'm like, was like, stop buying shit. I'm like, no, this is like really, look, it's vintage and it's like antique and this is like 130. I don't care. You're just accumulating shit. I'm like, yeah. But then he sees the work that I do, like upholstery. And I learned upholstery from watching YouTube videos because nobody will teach me. And it was, that quarantine. And I was like, hey, this is a perfect time. I can't go out, so I might as well. So I started, buying stuff from, like antique stores and just like upcycling, making it more like I like goth and rock kind of metal stuff. So I started doing stuff.
I love the mirrors that you're like, I have to get rid of some of these. I'm like,
yeah, I have
I'd like to have that
47
one.
mirrors, and it's just like today I had to get rid of one. It was I hadn't even seen it in a while, and now I had to part ways. I'm like, okay, yeah, here you go. And my husband's like, yeah, that's because you're vain. I'm like, no, it's just mirrors are just beautiful. I don't know. That's my.
And so now you're restoring these chairs or upcycling. That's the word. And how do you not get attached from something like you created this thing?
A lot of stuff I buy so I can sell it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna upholster this and reupholster this and paint it, and then I'm gonna get rid of it. And I tell that to my husband. That's when I bring stuff home, and he's like, what is it? I'm like, oh, no, I'm gonna sell. He's like, bullshit. You've been saying that about everything, and you do it, and you just keep it. I'm like, well, we need a bigger house. So yeah, but I'm starting to get rid of my stuff little by little. But, I'm really glad that a lot of people do actually love it. I thought, because you have a lot of haters, you do kind of tend to, water yourself down a little. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is stupid. But I'm like, you know what? This makes me happy. I don't give a shit what you post and what you like. It, doesn't.
It's your page.
Yeah, a lot of people don't fucking like it either. But that's you. So
I love that you don't sugarcoat anything. You just like
and then a lot of people don't like that. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm like, well, I'm either," and that's one flaw I do have. I'm either white or black. I can't be in the middle.
Yeah.
But I wish I was. Sometimes.
How long have you all known each other? I mean, did you know each other at 101?
We actually met each other at the Rock House. No, but when we started really talking was at what was that venue that they just closed?
Tricky Falls?
Yeah, Tricky Falls.
Tricky Falls.
It was for the Lords of Acid, as a matter of fact. And we stopped, we would just talk once in a while, but we just started getting really close a few months, like a year ago.
Yeah, since this whole pandemic started.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's you have a group of 4 friends that I see that you're at the shows together, and I'm glad I know you, because otherwise I'd be very intimidated to come to that table, because you all walk in there like you own it, and you love music, so.
Yeah. So.
And you like both music. Did you start in rock? Your love was rock, but you liked alternative, or?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Sandy, just kind of grew up in the 80s. The whole, rock, kind of glam metal, heavy metal background, but then evolved into the alternative, music. I did that for quite a few years, about a good, 15, 20 years at Club 101. Dancing.
Yeah, 101 was
dancing away.
If you didn't go to what? You don't know what 101 is? Hi.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing new wave shows, but we were talking about this guy, Oscar. He had a place downtown. What was that called again?
The Basement?
No, that was another guy, but Oscar did. Well, he had a heavy metal club, and then he had to close down, and, I would love to take credit for it, but he's the one who brought Pantera to 101. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I'd read about Pantera coming up, but I'm like, that was an amazing show.
See, I didn't see them there. I saw him at the pit, back in when he had the teased hair and stuff. But I was really young. I also vaguely remember that show.
But what I liked about the metal audience, they were super loyal. They have every single album. They can't wait till the album comes out. Sometimes the alternative crowd was kind of very disposable. Oh, well, I had their first album, but the last one I was like, ugh. But I would go to metal shows and people were like, what are you doing here? I'm like I can't be here? I got that the other day. I was at the brewery and somebody says, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to see your friends playing band. I don't know if you all get that. Probably not.
Yeah, I have.
We like both, genres of music. So definitely, rock and metal. But then we also go to, dance. We were able to go to one of your, what was it, the Dark Wave?
Dark Wave, yeah.
At the living room, so right before the pandemic hit. And we
even got some guys that never dance. And we're like, man, I can't. And they danced a few songs. They're like, man, I can't believe you better not be taking video. And I actually did. I'm like, I have video.
We have proof.
A lot of guys, I don't want to dance. I'm like, come on. Was there a favorite show you saw at 101?
Lots of shows, but one that really kind of stands out was the later years when I got to see the Cowboys from El Paso play for the first time live.
Oh yeah.
So being that they're the local version was pretty cool.
They put on a good show.
Which I want to bring something up, and it's just to pay respect. Talking about that because Big Ben, he was always, that's how I met him. I met him back at Sasso's in like 92, 91, 92. And from, with Matt and Eddie from Pissing Razors and all them. So, right now I really want to bring him up because it's going to be a big loss for the music industry.
A big loss.
Because he was such a great, I'm not just saying that, a lot of people are like, oh, because you're dead and that's when people love you. No, he's the type of person that everybody's going to miss. He was such a great guy. He would always fuck with me. He would always a smart ass with me and talk shit to me, but I knew it was always, fun. But, I had just talked to him not long ago and we would like text on Facebook and post on each other's stuff and it just really sucks and I want to say, may he rest in peace and I'm sorry to everybody that's going to miss him and his family and his boys.
Yeah, he was just somebody you always see at show. I just saw him 2 weeks ago at the Rock House. Matt was showing me his new sound system. And all of a sudden, Ben's right behind me. And just I would love, he was always on tour. And then he's been at home for a while. But, he toured with everybody. Not just El Paso, but everybody loved him. So, yeah. He's going to be greatly missed. Yeah, thanks for bringing him.
It's still kind of, I still can't believe he's gone. But, yeah, so Pissing Razors and did they Pissing Razors played there at 101 as well? I think they did, right?
It's
the one on Airway maybe?
I think they played Airway, but we had that discussion about because people don't want to support local bands and stuff.
They don't.
Some do and some don't, but I think there was something with Metallica. You all suck at one point in your Pissing Razors. I'd seen them. I like them. They're my friends. But when they went to Europe and they were touring and then they played 101 downtown. Oh my God, they were just as good as Pantera at the drive-in. Like they owned the stage. So go check out local bands, and that's what I think about Aftermath. I like those guys, I don't know there's some new metal bands happening here in El Paso. But is there plans for Pissing Razors to play again?
I don't know. I
know they have an album out.
They have an album out, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, we support the local music.
Oh yeah, we always do.
Yeah.
My eye keeps the water. What else?
And did you have any memories? You didn't have any fights in the bathroom, did you?
I didn't.
Oh, you did?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Sandy did.
I did. It's not because I started something.
Yeah.
It's always them getting me from behind. I'm like, what? It was like another show, and not just recently in Vegas. I went to see Rob Zombie and Dancing. And I had a friend of mine that lives in Vegas, and he's like, I'm going to wait for you out here. I'm like, I'm going to this. He's like, no. I'm like, oh, whatever, pussy. I'm going to go. So I went to the very front of the stage. There's like a row of some girls, 2 girls and 2 guys, and me in the back of them. So all of a sudden the guys go in mosh. So then I go to where they were, and then the girls are like, hey, this is, and so they gave me again from the hair, in between 2 girls pulling my hair, and I was wearing like some boots with like spikes on here, and I kicked the shit out of one, and they're, right in the middle of her crotch, in her crotch, and then she just, so they jumped me. So the next day, I'm like taking a shower and all this, I'm like, what? And my friend's like, why is it all the fucking time, you fight with someone? I'm like,
you're a magnet.
It's not me though. And I go, what am I supposed to do? Shit. So yeah, I'm just like, I learned to, I don't like to go out as much anymore, especially at nights. There's just too many people that are just assholes and they don't give a shit, and there's shootings and all that stuff. I'm like, for all I know, I'll be a fucking innocent bystander and fucking I get shot when I finally come out, But I like to do my day drinking once in a while, but not. I don't do crazy stuff anymore.
But, I mean, everybody knew you at 101, including the employees, because you were telling the story about how we threw out the other party, but we let you
we
back
get in fights, and then they're like, hey, and they saw the whole thing, and they're like, okay, you guys get out. And then the people, they're like, what? What the fuck? Why are they?
Why are they getting to go back in?
Because we're regular. Bye, bitch. And they'd be outside. Like, I'll wait for you. I'm like, okay, we'll be out like in 3 hours. Yeah, so it was also at Dito, Club Dito, that happened too. I did that, and Mike kicked them out. So, yeah. This story, I really have to say it because it's always stuck to me. I'm buzzing, and I'm talking to this other goth girl because we're all goth and, corsets back in the day and stuff. And so I sit down, and I'm like, yeah, we should all get along. And, I don't know why people are so hate. And I kind of babbled on and on for like 10, 15 minutes. And then she's like, throughout this time, she's like, and then she turns around, and she's like, and your point is? And I had a glass of wine. I'm like, that's my fucking point, you stupid bitch. And so we started, so then Mike kicked them out. And I was like, yeah, and they were pissed off outside. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, see, I'm like, just women are just evil.
And I mean, people ask me, we have a lot of fights at 101, but a lot of people knew each other, but girl fights, and it was usually somebody that wasn't a regular or something. It was something for stupid,
Yeah. Yeah. It was always something stupid.
You're going to Juarez, like, did you go at 15, 12?
Oh, sure. Yeah, underage.
Your mom's not listening today, is she?
Right, 15, 16, 17. And
I told my mom I was going to spend the night at my house, at my friend's house, and we ended up to Juarez.
Didn't sneak
They were
out?
carrying me back across the bridge. I would like throw up. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it was like Spanky's. First stop was Spanky's and English pub, and then Tequila Derby, and then we go to Copa, and then Fred's, and Superior. I was like, it's like living back in the day when I say that.
But you told your parents you were staying somewhere else?
Yeah. They don't know. I was in a field about to die from alcohol poisoning.
Did you get any fights in over there? You couldn't, right?
Yeah,
or
Copa. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got in a lot of fights since high school. But my dad would always get pissed off when I first started getting picked on. I would get bullied a lot. I came home and I tell my dad, she's like, next time you come here, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. You don't fucking kick their ass. I'm like, what? So, yeah, I did. And he would teach me how to fight. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
They didn't have MMA back then, so you'd probably be 45-0 or something.
Yeah, now I can. Now I'll break a bone. I'm like, oh.
No.
I'll get someone else to do my dirty work.
Do you still have people that, you just avoid stuff like that?
Yeah, I just...
It was, I'm
tired. I'm just, back then, yeah, people would be like, oh, she's crazy. Yeah, but you get tired, Like, at least I do. I'm just like, okay, when you grow up, you just want different things and see things a different way, and you just don't have the energy. I prefer to keep my energy than just drain it on some people that are not even worth it. So.
Now, are both of you all from El Paso originally, or?
Yeah, born and raised.
Yeah.
And where did you go to high school, or you want to mention that?
Urban.
Urban?
Class of
Say no more.
90 or 91.
The rowdy people. They always say that about Northeast, right?
Oh, you're from the Northeast. I'm like, yeah, you're from the Lower Valley. So, yeah.
Well, Irvin had a great basketball, but there was a
Billy
thing.
Davis. I went to high school with him. He played for the Cowboys for a while. But he was like, I remember going to Juarez he was part of the crowd that I would hang out with. We'd go to Juarez and...
But Irvin was a party. Because they had the reputation of teenage pregnancy or something. I heard something. Maybe from my Irvin friends. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. There was some classes for pregnant girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't get pregnant until 20.
And how about you? What high school?
Yeah, Bel Air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, born and raised in El Paso.
So I went to Eastwood, so that was our rival Bel Air.
Right.
There used to be the Cobras, and we were always like, oh, the Cobras are going to come kick our ass at lunchtime or something. But that was our heated...
For the helmet.
The helmet, yeah. The remodeling, it looks really beautiful. But
oh, yeah, it does at school. It's really good.
But Bel Air's a cool school.
Johnny Kleenex. Why my tear?
And was
reminiscing.
Any other stories you want to talk about that you remember? Because when I'm at a show, just like we were talking about Ben, it's like I always look forward to seeing you all at shows. I don't know if you feel the same way as seeing me at a show, but oh my God, there's Joe.
What are you doing here, Joe?
What are you doing here, Joe?
What's he doing
I
here?
remember seeing like some of the guys from 101, and me and my friend showed up. It's like, oh, you guys made it, because we always look fucking forward to seeing you guys, because you guys are all fucking dressed up, all fucking, because we wore like our 7-inch heel boots and like the corsets and like long coats that look like capes and just all out. So I'm like, yeah, no, because you don't really see that much in El Paso.
No, you don't.
And people are looking at us like, oh, it's not Halloween. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Really? People
At 101 would say that to us, like, because we show up with like the horns, and it would be like in May or June, and be like, it's not Halloween. I'm like, yeah, so.
Every day is Halloween.
Every day is Halloween.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, it was good to have you here. You want to?
It was good being.
Yeah. We have
Always
so many.
good reminiscing, and
Yeah.
brings back to how you felt back in the day, and even your heart feels like, oh, like how you felt back then, and then you go back to reality. Oh, damn it. When you had no responsibilities, your responsibilities was how much am I going to get for the weekend to buy food, drinks and stuff.
So, are you looking forward to shows coming back soon, or have you gone to any shows?
No,
or?
we're going to the Molly Crew, Def Leppard, Joan Jett.
Where's that at? Phoenix.
September 4th or 5th.
Of this year.
Hopefully. Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Gonna go see Rage Against the Machine?
The tickets were way too
Yeah. More than the show you're gonna go see?
Well, I mean, that was...
Well, there's 4 of them, yeah.
Because it's worth it, because we get to see Nikki Sixx.
And you didn't get tickets for Bad Bunny?
No.
That would you categorize as crap? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
This is so much fun. We could do this again, but you have a lot of stories.
Yeah, too much.
Want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Joe Dorgan Show. You can make sure you follow our channel, and you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook.